West Hill United is a progressive spiritual community where how you live is more important than what you believe. West Hill United is a people, a place, an idea. We are a community living out of a progressive faith, striving to make a positive difference in our own lives, the lives of others, and the world. Join us Sundays at 10:30 a.m. or connect with us at any time.
In this video, Florence will be referencing a TED Talk that will be linked in the description below.
Our first reading is from Goldie Hawn, who's an American actor, producer, and singer. Hawn founded the Hawn Foundation, a non-profit organization which provides youth education programs intended to improve academic performance through life-enhancing strategies for well-being. Her reading is as follows. The lotus is the most beautiful flower, whose petals open one by one, but it will only grow in the mud. In order to grow and gain wisdom, first you must have the mud, the obstacles of life and its suffering. The mud speaks of the common ground that humans share. No matter what our stations in life, whether we have it all or we have nothing, we are all faced with the same obstacles: sadness, loss, illness, dying, and death. If we are to strive as human beings to gain more wisdom, more kindness, and more compassion, we must have the intention to grow as a lotus and open each petal one by one. The second reading is by Amor Tolls from A Gentleman in Moscow. From his book, After All, what can a first impression tell us about someone we've just met for a minute in the lobby of a hotel? For that matter, what can a first impression tell us about anyone? Why no more than a chord can tell us about Beethoven or a brushstroke about Botticelli? By their very nature, human beings are so capricious, so complex, so delightfully contradictory that they deserve not only our consideration, but our reconsideration and our unwavering determination to withhold our opinion until we have engaged with them in every possible setting at every possible hour.
Into the perspective. And John, I'm assuming you...
For our focus moment today, we have a writing from Greta. Deep in the midst of all that I am is the rest of me, not smaller, not circumscribed by circumstance, but bigger by far than most will ever see, bigger by far than who I know myself to be. As a journey, may I find opportunity to come to know this larger than life who I am, so that through my living I might learn to love, embrace, and hallow me, and so free myself, my real self, to love, embrace, the hallow you, as one who lives to see and to be seen by you. Amen. Rebeca Hwang is a co-founder and managing director of Rivet Ventures, which invests in companies in women-led markets where female usage, decision-making, and purchasing are crucial to company growth. Hwang is also co-founder of the San Francisco-based startup YouNoodle, which connects top startups with opportunities for growth. She also co-founded Calais Ventures, a venture fund focused in Latin American startups. With a background in chemical and civil and environmental engineering from MIT and Stanford, Hwang's work has garnered 3 U.S. patents, and she has 17 pending patent applications in her portfolio. She's been recognized as one of MIT Tech Review's top 35 global innovators under 35, and as a young global leader by the World Economic Forum. Hwang serves in the board of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, which annually runs GEW in 170 countries and gathers 10 million participants. As the co-founder of Clean Tech Open, she's helped more than 1,000 clean tech startups raise in excess of $1 billion in external funding. In addition, Hwang is a lecturer at the Stanford University and teaches technology entrepreneurship. So if the tech team wouldn't mind getting ready, the video entitled The Power of Diversity Within Yourself. It's Rebeca Hwang giving a TED Talk in April 2018. Thank you.
Rebeca Hwang her talk is just so full of lines to take out and weave around West Hill ideas and thoughts that it's just about, there's so many rich pickings here. So I've just pulled one or two ideas out at random and had planned to just talk very briefly about them. So I'm starting with the idea that she mentioned a short moment ago, to embrace all the different permutations of herself. Just to remind us that we're all complex and multi-dimensional people. We are so many cells within one person. And she started off wondering, was she Argentinian? Was she Korean? And these are just labels. And labels, I think, turn us into such one-dimensional people. And a single label is never enough. It doesn't leave any room for nuance. It makes it made it difficult for her to be Korean and Argentinian, for example. Worse still, allowing the idea that one label can say everything about a person can lead to something like, if you're not for me, you are against me. We're really just too complex to fit into one box, no matter which label it is we're referring to. I just like to think that labels are not important just because they don't tell the whole story. We want to see the complete person. Florence has already given us a good list of the various labels that can be applied, so I wasn't going to repeat these ever. And because of this tendency to use labels, it means that we're always focusing on difference and not on what brings people together. We're not good at seeing the places where there is overlap. Social media is another good example of the binary view of life. But when we do find overlap, these are the places where we find common ground. So here's a couple of thoughts that I was having because of this TED Talk about finding common ground and a common story. A ground and a story that resonate with our own respective diversities. And at West Hill, I think we have both. In this community, we have a history of recognizing diversity, both within us. And unfortunately, the word diversity itself has come to have a narrow meaning, but we will resist that and see it more broadly. But what of the overlap? These points of connection, these points where we can share, the place where we find common ground. I think we are able here to find places of overlap with people and groups that we've not yet dreamt of. West Hill is a bridge that offers a different perspective. A superficial glance around, the people in this room would say, we're a typical looking church congregation, and there are really relatively few boxes needed to define us. But looking deeper, we're more diverse than we realise. The journey that's brought us here to where we are today is testament to that. Some of us have been with West Hill for most of our adult lives, and the rest of us can be here because of your persistence and resilience. So thank you. Others have found their way here because of what West Hill stands for. Thank you too for that persistence and resilience. But what keeps us here? What keeps us coming back? I think it's our passion to find common ground, to be the bridge that removes barriers of different kinds, that allows the connections to flourish. Just for example, we wouldn't have been able to meet Anita in Edinburgh if we hadn't been at West Hill and made connections. And I'm sure there are plenty of other examples of that. Rebecca hopes her children will be free to experiment and take control of their personal narrative and identity. That's our aspiration too, our vision for this community, to experiment and take control of our story. Sometimes we'll stumble when we do this. Sometimes we'll soar at it. But we're traveling together, looking for these connections, looking to explore the diversity, find the overlap, share the common ground, share our story, and travel together in a spirit of love. Thank you.
Become a sustaining champion of West Hill United's work by committing to an automatic monthly donation. Learn more or donate now through Canada Helps.